Hello, everyone. If we've never met, I'm Heidi Dean. I'm a social media expert for actors and a backstage expert. And I'm so excited to be back. I think this is number 7, I think. But this time answering the huge question, what social media does an actor need? And I already see people in the chat. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Dina. Hi, Marlene. I'm sure you'll let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Elise. Hello from Houston. Awesome. This is such an important topic that we're going to talk about today, okay? Because I see a lot of you guys choosing platforms based on where you like to play instead of choosing them with a purpose. And that is what we're going to cover today. I'm very excited. So today we're going to talk about, should you be on Instagram? Should you be on Twitter? Should you have a Facebook profile, a page, or should you have a YouTube channel? Or should you be on TikTok? We're going to cover all of that today. And to be really honest, guys, the answer to this question is different for every actor. So it's different for Marlene, it's different for Simpson, it's different for Janice, okay? The answer of what platforms you should be on as an actor, okay? So to help you guys, each and every one of you, make an educated decision for yourself and for your career, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through really the pros and cons of all the major platforms. And then I'm going to give you the 4 questions that you have to ask yourself when you're trying to decide whether to use a platform for your career. Okay. And this is so great because you guys can use this to reassess the platforms you're using today, but you can also use it to decide, whether, like, when the new TikTok comes out or the new Snapchat, the next new platform, when it comes out, you can ask yourself these questions and you can make sure that that new platform will align with your goals. Okay, great. You can hear me. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so I normally ask you guys where you're from, but actually today I want to hear, what platforms are you using? What social networks are you using for your career right now? Just hop them, put them in the chat for me. Is it Instagram? Is it Twitter? Do you have a YouTube channel? Put them in the chat. I just kind of want to see. I want to see what we have here so I can tailor today's conversation for it. Perfect. Instagram, Facebook, Instagram. Keep them coming, guys. So like I said, really what platforms you decide, it's going to be different. Just like we're seeing right now, everybody is a little bit on a different platform. Perfect. And if you're using these platforms with a purpose for your career instead of playtime, right, then you need to choose platforms that are going to help you reach your career goals faster, not just where your friends hang out, right? And a lot of times we joined a platform way back in the day, in high school, in college. Maybe if you're a parent, maybe you joined the platform because you're watching your kid, right? So we just need to make sure you're using these platforms that you guys are putting in the chat with a purpose and they're helping you reach your goals, okay? Now, when I work with my private clients or in my social media classes online, where we start with everything is what are your goals for your social media? Okay, what are your goals? And what I do is I actually have them rank 4 goals in order, okay? From most important to least important, okay? And I'm gonna have you guys do the same thing today. So either do this in your mind, in your head, or take out a piece of paper, and I want you to rank these 4 goals. And I'm gonna have Katie put them in the chat for you guys as well. So the 4 goals: are you wanting to use social media as an actor to maintain and grow your existing relationships in the business? So these are the people you already know. Number 2, is your most important goal to create relationships with new people in the business that you don't know, right? Are you looking to expand your connections? Number 3, are you using social media to build an audience for yourself or your content? Okay. Number 4, are you on a show or in a show, and are you using it to connect with your fans? And I know that won't apply to everyone. And if it doesn't apply to you, guess what? It's number 4. So rank those 4 goals in order of importance, okay? And I have them right here too. Let me just make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, so it might be backwards, but goal number 1, are you trying to maintain your existing connections? Goal number 2, are you trying to make new connections? Goal number 3, are you using social media to grow? Or are you in a show and are using it to connect with your fans? There is one other question, that if you are a content creator, are you using social media to obviously to showcase your talent, your talents, your content? Are you housing it there, and are you spreading the word? So if you're a content creator, you get 5. Rank those, and I'd love to see them in the chat. Perfect. 2, 1, 3, 4. Dina, awesome. Marlene, we just put them in the chat, and I did just repeat it. Awesome. Okay, and if you guys don't do this right now, don't worry, the replay will be here if the YouTube gods are with us when we're done here today. So rank these and let me know the order. I see a 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4. Perfect. Awesome. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So when you guys know what your most important goals are, these goals I am seeing in the chat, it's really easy to figure out what platforms are the best ones for you. Okay. It's going to help you say, heck yes or heck no when that new platform comes up, right? Because you're going to know, you're going to be able to align your goals with the platforms and what they actually do. Okay. Because honestly, truthfully, I would rather see you guys really rock one platform for your career. Like grow it, make connections, rock that platform, then get burnt out on 4. And that's what some of you by the end of today's live might discover. You might decide to ditch a platform, and that's okay as long as it's aligning with your goals. Perfect. 2, 1, a lot of 2, 1, 3, 4s, 2, 3, 1, 4. Perfect, guys. Great. This is a start. And Jennifer's a content creator. I see a 5 in there. Beautiful, beautiful. So you've ranked your goals. What I want to do now is I want to dive in a little bit deeper, and I want to talk about the pros and cons of each platform. Because you see, if you guys can see this here, and I'll move this so you guys can see it a little bit better. Yes, this is a general idea of what platforms will help you reach the 5 goals I just talked about, right? But I want to break down the pros and cons because sometimes it's a little bit different depending on who you are and whether you're making content in your specific situation. Okay. So perfect, guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Awesome. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to start with the 3 biggest platforms. We're going to talk about the pros and cons for whether or not you should be on them. And those would be Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And when I say the biggest platforms, I mean for the industry. Okay, these are platforms where you may be asked for your career. You may have posting requirements. You may have guidelines in your contract. You may have to do an Instagram takeover. You may have to live tweet or do a Q&A. And really, industry standard, it's probably going to happen on those 3 as of right now at the time of this recording. Okay, so we're going to start with those and then we'll move on. We're going to talk about TikTok. We're going to talk about YouTube. We'll talk about even LinkedIn, which a lot of people have been asking me about recently. Perfect, guys. Awesome. Somebody just asked a YouTube question. And we will talk about YouTube today. And we'll talk about the pros and cons of being on YouTube versus IGTV versus TikTok. If you want to actually share your talents with the world. Okay, so we will definitely get to that. Great question, guys. Okay, so let's start with Instagram. I'm just going to move this. I have an ice pack. I had knee surgery just a couple weeks ago. So I'm trying to comfortably sit for you guys here. Okay, so let's start with Instagram. Should you guys be on Instagram? Okay, so let's talk about the pros first. And I want you guys to look at the goals that you ranked, right? So if making new connections for your career is important, then Instagram allows us to do that, right? Instagram actually gives us direct access. There's no gatekeepers to the people you want to know. It's really super cool. So if that was one of your goals to meet new people, then that's a major, major pro for being on Instagram, right? And actually, I did a live last month about how to network properly on social media. And that will be very helpful for you if you decide to be on Instagram or Twitter for networking. Okay. And I'm sure we'll link to that somewhere here. Feel better. Oh, thank you. Yes. I've been sitting a lot and it'll be healed hopefully in a couple more weeks. So thank you guys. Okay. So that's a major pro, right? If networking was your number 1 goal, number 2, Instagram may be a good place for you guys. Also, there's a growing number of industry pros on Instagram that I'd say are in like the 18 to 35 age bracket. So, I really look at it as the next generation of casting directors and producers and writers and directors. So that's a major pro to be on Instagram if you want to network with those people. I think it's in terms of growth. If number 3 was something you wanted to do, I think Instagram is one of the easier platforms to grow on. That would be after TikTok and Twitter, and we'll explain that in a little bit. But it's fairly easy to grow on Instagram. And I think there's a link in the description below to a free Instagram class that will help you guys grow if that is a goal for you, okay? Or it's at freeclassforactors.com. So if that's a goal for you, Instagram is good for growth, right? Now, if you're on a show, in a show, you may be asked to do an Instagram takeover for your gig. So obviously Instagram might be something you want to consider. Okay. You see, everything we do today is going to be in the lens of what are your goals. Okay. And if you're somebody, I look at Instagram as kind of a time saver, a one-stop shop. If you're somebody who really just wants to focus on one platform, and be able to create content, because we have IGTV, you can do short form videos with stories. We've got the feed. We can go live. It's kind of a one-stop shop. So if you're looking for one place that you can see can actually help you reach all your goals, because that's IGTV right there, then Instagram may be the easiest way for you to reach all those goals. Okay, guys? Awesome. Just want to make sure you guys could still see me and hear me. In terms of cons for Instagram, so we just talked about some pros, right? Honestly, there's not a lot of reasons not to be on Instagram as an actor right now. It's really a hot place to be, especially for the industry. But I'll give you 2 reasons why it may be a con for you. If you run your social media from desktop, so if you're not really like a mobile person, then obviously Instagram, we still can't do all the features. They're adding them, but we still can't do them all on the computer. So that may be a con for you. But also if you're a word person, I have a lot of clients that are actors, but they're also comedians or actors and writers, and they're just better with words than taking pictures and videos. So they may feel more at home on another platform like Twitter than Instagram. Okay, so if you're a word person, then it may not be the best place for you. Got it? Let me know. Amin says, what is that orange icon on the bottom? It's IGTV. Okay, so it's Instagram, but it's Instagram TV. That's a part of the platform. Okay, it has a separate app, so it actually gets its own icon. Perfect. So those are the pros and cons for why you might be on Instagram, guys. Okay, and we're running it through the lens of those 4 goals we talked about in the beginning. And I just saw we had people joining us late. If you missed the goals in the beginning, don't worry. They're actually in the chat, but the replay will be here afterwards, and I'll repeat them at the end. So that's should you be on Instagram? Should you be on Twitter? So let's talk about the pros and cons of being on Twitter as an actor. Just like Instagram, it's a great place to stay top of mind with your existing connections. It's also a fantastic place to meet new people in the business. Okay, Tony, save the question for the end and I'll help you with that, okay? I'm going to have time for Q&A at the end, guys. So you can drop them in now, but I may not see them, so you might want to save them till the end. Okay, so Twitter, great for existing connections, fantastic for making new connections. In fact, you know, you can put people in Twitter list. So this is why I have these in order. Twitter, I think, has a slight edge on Instagram for making new connections in the business. Number 1, because of Twitter list. If you guys don't know what a Twitter list is, you can go on Twitter and you can actually organize the people you know, the people you want to know. You don't even have to be following them into organized lists. So you see just a feed of their post. And it's a fantastic way to be able to network and stay top of mind with people and build relationships with people you want to know, is using these Twitter lists. Instagram doesn't really give us a great feature to do that. Okay. So that's why it has a little leg up on Instagram here. Also, right now, I'd say there are just more industry pros on Twitter than Instagram. So if you're trying to connect with, say, writers and producers, you're probably going to find more on Twitter. Okay. So Twitter lists, like I said, makes this possible. So if you guys said meeting new people, which so many of you said number 2 was your first thing, these are your magic pair right here. Okay. You don't need both, but these are ones to consider, okay? In terms of being in a show or on a show, you may be asked to do a Twitter Q&A. You may be asked to do live tweeting, right? So that may be something that you might want to consider as well, okay? I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee. All right, awesome. That's an amazing feature. Yes, Twitter lists are amazing. It actually allows me, I feel like, I have hundreds of coffee dates every single week with people I know, with people I want to know. And it helps. Twitter lists also help us block out political noise and everything, because I can go right to my list every time I sign in. Okay, they're amazing. You love my coffee cup. Awesome, thank you. It is my favorite coffee cup. So, okay, so In terms of whether or not, if you're trying to decide between Twitter or Instagram, if relationships was your most important goal, which I saw in the chat, that's really up to you. You got to do the research. So who do you want to meet? What type of shows do you want to be on? Who do you want to meet? Where are they? Where are they more active? They might not be on Instagram. They might not be on Twitter. You have to do that research. And actually that live I did about networking, we dive into that topic of who to target, how to find them on social media. Okay, so if you're deciding between these two with building relationships, it really is going to come down to who do you want to meet? Who do you want to know in the business? Okay. Now, let's see. I'd say for growth, Twitter is, up until recently, I'd say it was the easiest place to grow a following, hands down. And the reason why is if you know how Twitter works and you know how to use advanced search, we can search bios. We can search everything on Twitter to find our like-minded tribe. And Instagram search just isn't that advanced. Okay. So I'd say up until recently, Twitter, if you wanted to grow an audience, that was the place to be. Then Instagram. Now, TikTok, I'd say, is probably the easiest place. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Awesome. You need that coffee mug. I should really put it on my Amazon, my Amazon influencer account. I don't even know where I got it. I think I got it at Target a long time ago. All right, guys. So those are the pros for being on Twitter. Cons, let's talk about the obvious one. It is a media platform. It's known as a media platform. And that means the news is broken first there. So that means when you're on Twitter, you will see politics, you will see lots of news, and some of it may be negative. And for some people, that is a deal breaker, and that's why they don't want to use Twitter. I will tell you there are ways to organize your Twitter and mute certain words so you don't see that stuff, but I understand that may be a con for somebody. Another con, I'd say, is a lot of people find Twitter to not be user-friendly. I'd say it's one of the harder platforms to learn, but once you do, it's actually my favorite platform. But I do have a resource for you guys that's totally free. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Heidi Dean. Just sift through my videos, and I have it's a 30-minute Twitter tutorial that shows you how every button works. So if a con for you not being on Twitter is that you just don't get it, or if you're thinking about leaving because you just don't get it, then go watch that tutorial and you will get it. Okay, cool. Awesome. I see lots of thumbs up. Hey, Elise. I think I see you on Instagram now. Cool. Okay. So those are basically the pros and cons for why you would be on Instagram, why you would be on Twitter. Okay. Broken down through the lens of the goals we've been talking about. Let's talk about Facebook pages or Facebook profiles. Should you use those for your career? Okay, let's talk about a Facebook profile. A Facebook profile can be a really great place to stay in touch with people you already know in the business. I have a lot of clients that are, they're using these for growth and connecting, and then they use their Facebook profile to stay top of mind with the people they already know in the business. It's kind of like this inner club that you only let people in that obviously are friends and family, but that that you worked with. Okay. So it's fantastic for that. And that says profile. It might be hard to see. I'm still trying to turn this. Okay. So that's a Facebook profile is really good for, staying top of mind with those existing connections. Okay. And if you're just starting out and you don't want to invest the time of having a page, you can actually have followers on your profile. So that's an option for you, okay? For some of you guys, I saw some 5s in the chat, meaning you're creating content. If you have content, you can utilize Facebook ads, and it is the most advanced ads platform for spreading the word about your content, okay? And in terms of your career, there may be a Q&A, there may be a Facebook Live component that you might have to do at some point. You may be actually doing that with the show's page, but you might be doing it on your own. And Facebook Live, YouTube Live, which we're on right now, hopefully this doesn't jinx our stream. Facebook Live is really just the most advanced, best live platform, at least in my opinion, out there. Okay. Let's talk about the cons about Facebook, about using Facebook. There's a little bit more of them than there were for Twitter and Instagram. Millie says, I love your Facebook group. Oh, yes, I do have a Facebook group, Social Savvy Actors, where it's just dedicated to social media for actors. Hey, Millie. So let's talk about the cons about Facebook, okay? I'm going to talk about the obvious one because I know if I don't say it, somebody will. I know a lot of people just don't like Facebook. They don't like or trust Facebook. So for some of you, that may be a deal breaker, right? Except for groups, like Millie just talked about. So except for Facebook groups, it's not the best place to meet new people. It just isn't. That's why I don't have them here. So if you guys said number 2 is your like biggest goal, then if you have a Facebook page and that's what you're focusing on all your time on, that's not going to help you reach your goal, right? So I hope you're seeing how this is aligned. Yes, you can find groups, but if you get really targeted about who you want to know, it's much easier to find them here than to and access and build relationships with them than try to find them in a group and, you know, try to talk to them on their profile, which isn't always appropriate. Like I said, we talked about that in the live about networking. Perfect. Patrick, you can multicast on Facebook and Instagram. Well, there's software you can multicast. You can do it at the same time if your connection is good. Yes, but in terms of live, really Facebook has the most advanced platform for live. Instagram needs to do better. All right, so cons for Facebook. Like I said, it's not good for meeting new people, really. The algorithm, you might only have 1% of your fans actually seeing your page post, right? And growing an audience, that's why I don't have it on growth, it used to be easy on Facebook, but it's harder without paying for ads. So think back to the goals that you guys ranked in the beginning, 1 through 4. If growth was a goal, if making new connections was a goal and you're focusing on your Facebook page, that social network is not helping you reach your goals. Okay. And like I said, I know it's different for everybody, but as a general rule, it's probably not helping you. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to get to these questions in a second. Okay, cool. Awesome. So that was Facebook, pros and cons. Let's talk about TikTok, and then we'll briefly talk about YouTube and LinkedIn, and we'll open it up to questions. Should you be on TikTok as an actor? Something I never thought I'd say a year ago. But we are kind of, what's going on right now with TikTok is where we were at with Instagram in the beginning and YouTube. You know, how many of us would have loved to set up a channel back in 2005? Right now, you're still an early adapter if you hop on over to TikTok. Okay. There are, I think, 800 million active daily users. The good news for you is only about 30% of people on TikTok are actually creating content. Most people are consuming content, okay? So if you are a content creator, that's great news for you. And it may be a good place for you if you're creating short form content. If you're not there, think 15 seconds, max a minute for your content, okay? And we'll talk about the pros and cons of that. So why might you use TikTok? If you're an artist, so if you dance, if you sing, if you act, if you're a performer of any type, if you're a comedian, it's a great way to show your talents. Literally, that's what's happening right now on TikTok. You've been handed a stage to perform for 15 seconds, 60 seconds, and people are getting millions of followers and making money through their lives on TikTok. People are getting representation because they now have 1 million followers, okay? So if you're an artist, it might be a great place to share your talents, right? It's short videos. Like I said, 15 seconds, max 60 seconds. So if you're thinking about doing short form content, it's less work than more produced YouTube content, okay? Since it's newer, it's just an open playing field right now. And a lot of people, so if you said growth and you're a content creator and you can do short form content, a lot of actors are finding it easy to grow on TikTok, at least for right now. Okay, so it may be a good place for you. They're finding it a lot easier than the more saturated older platforms. Okay, it's also great for building your Instagram and your YouTube. Why? If you're on TikTok, what did they give you in your bio? They give you a link to your YouTube or a link to your Instagram. So literally, as you grow your TikTok audience, you are growing your Instagram. You are growing your YouTube channel. Okay, so it can be a great place for you to grow and to show your talents, okay? And how's your content, okay? The TikTok content creator I know is 18 years old. It's age of factor. Well, technically you're supposed to be 13 to be on the platform, even though I see babies on there all the time. But It's not a factor. I mean, what I'd say, I think the 66% of people on the platform are under the age of 30. Okay. So if your content appeals to a younger demographic, or if you're on a show that has a younger demographic, then that's probably the place for you to be. Okay. But don't be scared if you're older, because that means a third of the audience is over 30. Right? So if you're older, there's a lot of grandmas. So there's a lot of hashtag over 30, hashtag over 40. I'm 40, so I've been using hashtag over 40, hashtag over 50. They're rocking it too. They're growing huge audiences as well. So you don't have to be young. Okay. Is comedy the only way to grow on TikTok? No, there's education. People right now, the educational space is really taking off. Comedy, if you do short sketches, that's obvious comedy. But I've seen people, singing, performing. No, you really just show your talents, right? You can also help in trends. There's lots of trends and challenges, and those will actually, you can grow following around that too. So I'm getting all these questions about TikTok. Actually, I've got a great thing that will help you with TikTok. My YouTube channel, my video this Thursday is a step-by-step TikTok tutorial. So it's like a 30-minute tutorial. You'll learn how all the buttons work, all the effects work, everything. So that's going to answer a bunch of the questions I just saw. Is it mobile only? Can you do it on desktop? There's a small desktop version, but it doesn't do everything. So yeah, you're going to want to use your phone for TikTok. Okay. Girl, you are not aging. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Yes, Thursday tutorial. You guys will get it this week. So if you want to learn TikTok, definitely go check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Heidi Dean, and that tutorial will be coming out on Thursday. Cool. So going through these, if you're thinking about, should I be on TikTok? Right here, growth. Okay. It could be the fastest way for you to grow not only an audience on TikTok, but also your Instagram, right? And if you have content, right, it might be a great place for you. The reason why I don't have it with your existing followers, sure, Snapchat, sure, TikTok, you're going to keep, in contact with some of the existing people in the business, but it's not really set up as a platform for that. You can't really organize your contacts very well. So that's why I don't have those here. But of course, every platform you can keep, in contact with your existing connections. So, okay, cool. You never knew that. Let's see. How do you respond to inappropriate things for professional attitudes? Okay, we'll get to questions at the end. But if you have any trolls or people being inappropriate, you can hold down on the comment and actually make a TikTok with the comment right here and do what you want with it. Call out the trolls, right? Awesome. So that was the pros for being on TikTok. And right now there's actually a lot of pros for being on TikTok. The cons, it's like what I just said. It's not the best place for networking. It's not, if you make a target list of who you want to know in the business, are you going to be able to go on TikTok and really build relationships with them? Are they actually going to be there? Probably not. Right. So if relationship building was your number one goal, then maybe that's not the best place for you, or maybe it's not your number one platform, which we'll talk about in a second too. Okay, quickly, should we be on YouTube? Should you be on YouTube as an actor? I dove into this topic last month when I did the YouTube for Actors live, and we talked about the different channels you could create, but should you be on YouTube? Well, if you want to do longer content than, say, TikTok, it can be a great place to really stop waiting for the phone to ring, right? And take your career in your own hands and create your own content, right? And I'm talking about, should you be on YouTube, guys, as a creator, not necessarily just with putting your reel up. It's totally free to start a channel, right? And, nowadays you can shoot videos on your phone. You can get cheap lighting, ring lights, microphones for very, very inexpensive, right? So the barriers for creating content are pretty low, right? Posting on YouTube versus IGTV. Posting on YouTube helps your SEO, so your search engine optimization, right? So a lot of people don't know YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So when you start posting there, guess what? Guess what happens when people Google you? Guess what happens when people are looking topics up and looking you up on YouTube? You'll pop up. It's going to increase your discoverability. Okay. IGTV does not have that capability right now. So that's a pro for YouTube instead of IGTV. Okay. And TikTok isn't going to help your SEO, but there's just a large audience looking for content like sketches and singing and all sorts of stuff. Okay. So those are pros for being on YouTube, right? But there's a major con, and that is a lot of people don't realize a YouTube channel, it takes a lot of time. So if you don't have the extra time, if you're not ready to dedicate that much time to making longer form content, then perhaps IGTV or TikTok is a better way for you as a content creator to get your foot wet. Okay. If you are thinking about YouTube channel, go watch my live from last month. That's YouTube for actors. Okay, cool. Lastly, before we talk about Q&A and we wrap everything up with all your goals and what channels you should be on or what platforms you should be on be on LinkedIn? And I've been getting asked this a lot lately, so that's why I'm including it. Just like a Facebook profile, LinkedIn can be a really fantastic place to stay top of mind with your existing connections. That's how the platform's built, right? Really, you shouldn't be connecting with people that aren't friends or friends of friends, right? So for those existing connections, if number one, that goal was your biggest thing, and you are already on LinkedIn, you already have a Facebook profile, then dive into that. I have a client who's actually in his 60s, and he's somebody you guys would recognize, not because he's Brad Pitt, not because we know his name, but he's worked so much, right? He has so many connections on his Facebook profile, people he's actually worked with, producers, casting directors, like you name it, writers. Same thing for his LinkedIn. The people he's connected to on there that he actually knows, it's amazing. So really his number one goal right now for his social media is to really stay top of mind and on those existing connections so he can continue to book more work. Make sense? Because he already has those existing audiences. We are adding a Twitter on because of a project he's doing coming up, but he's focusing on those. So like I said, it's going to be different for everybody. But LinkedIn's great for that. There are LinkedIn groups, so you can meet new people there, but it's not the best place to meet new people, right? And a con, I guess, for LinkedIn is, we're not going to see it in growth here because you're never going to be, they're never going to ask you how many LinkedIn connections you have when, in terms of helping you get cast. It's just not going to happen. Okay. It's not the platform to help you reach that goal. Okay. And if you're a multi-hyphenate, so say you have a day job that's very different than being a performer, the platform is not set up well for multi-hyphenates, and they won't even allow you to have two accounts under the same name. Okay. So those would be the cons for LinkedIn. But hey, just like my client, if you've got existing connections on LinkedIn that you can tap into and grow for your career, use them. It's called social networking, right? They're social networks. So be social and network on them if you have existing connections. Okay. Now, after we went through this today, if you start reevaluating Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, no matter what platforms you're on right now, and they are not helping you reach those goals that you just ranked, then maybe you need to decide not to use them. Okay. So for example, maybe you're using a Facebook page and you really want to meet new people. Well, guess what? It's not really a great place to do that, a page. So maybe you decide to focus on your Twitter and your Instagram for just a little bit, or maybe you just focus on your Instagram. Okay. If you decide that, do not delete the account. Don't delete the Facebook page, okay? Especially if you have your name. What I want you to do is I want you just to tell us where you're going to play. Okay, like I said, I'd rather see you really rock out one or two platforms than try to rock out four and never see success and not reach any of these goals that we ranked. Got it? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense, okay? But you're not going to delete it. I want you to put a post out on Facebook if you're not going to use your page anymore and say, hey, I don't play here anymore. Go find me on Instagram and put the link here. Or I don't play here anymore, but I'm over on TikTok, and put your TikTok link. Okay, tell us where we can find you, but you don't necessarily have to use it, and you definitely don't want to delete it. Okay, perfect. All right, so that's what I want you guys to do today. If you didn't already, I want you to rank those 4 goals when we're done here. Okay, are you wanting to use social media to maintain and grow those existing relationships? Are you wanting to use social media to make new connections, expand your network? Are you wanting to use social media to grow an audience? Are you wanting to use social media because you're on a show or in a show and you're connecting with your fans, or maybe you even have requirements? Or are you a content creator? Bonus question for content creators. Are you using social media for your content? Rank those in order, and that is going to help you decide where you should play. Okay? Stop wasting time on networks that are not helping you reach your goals. Okay? Awesome. I see lots of thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay. Perfect. Nikki said, I think Nikhil says, my first lesson on this topic, outstanding, and thanks. But that's the problem. Most of us, like I said, we don't always hop on a platform in the beginning because of our career. And so we always have to reassess, if I'm using this for my career, is it helping me reach my goals? Or it's just a waste of time. Okay. So cool. I'm going to take questions. I know there were some up here, but if you asked me a question earlier, you're going to want to put it in the chat again, because there's a good chance I am not going to see it. All right. All right. I'm looking. Is TikTok more helpful than working on short films for my reel? Well, that is a totally different thing. I would work on short films for your reel. TikTok is just a platform where you can create content and grow an audience and have people see it. Like I said, it's like you're literally being handed a stage, right? To perform for people. It's amazing, right? I would build your reel, because you're not necessarily going to put, unless you really grow your TikTok, you're probably not going to put that stuff on your reel. It's all vertical content. So, okay, let's see. Memes. Should I be reaching out to industry professionals on Twitter, or hope they reach out to me for casting purposes? You should be building relationships on Twitter or Instagram with people in the business that you want to know. You shouldn't be reaching out for casting purposes. That sometimes that does happen, but that is not the first thing you do. Okay. That's like walking up to someone you don't know and say, hi, nice to meet you. Can you do me a favor? Right? You got to think about why people are on a platform. They're on a platform because they're posting for their friends and family. That's where Twitter, they may, read the news. They're there as a casting director, but that doesn't mean that they're there to cast you in something, right? Social media is more of the handshake. It's not the booking. Okay. But it's a great place to build that relationship. So when the time comes, that you can open doors. Or we dive into this in the networking live that I did. Just the idea of over and over again, when someone gets exposed to you and they see you over and over again, they get curious. If you are interacting with them in a human way that's not about booking a job, they'll get curious and they'll click over. And if your pages are optimized enough to send us to your content, to your website, you will make connections and find opportunities through social media. It just happens. It's human nature. I can't tell you how many actors I click over all the time to find out more about them, because they're interacting with me in a really human way, and it has nothing to do with, can I get a job? Can I get an audition? So normally those I tune out. No offense. That just, you get a lot of them, So, all right. Do casting directors really dislike being tagged? I can't speak for all of them, but I can tell you a lot of them that I'm personal friends with that hate it so much they don't even look at their tagged photos, right? And so most of them are actually, some of my friends are turning off their settings on Instagram and Twitter so that people can't even tag them in photos. You got to look at the tactic of networking. Tagging people in your photos when they're not in your photos is saying, hey, look at me. It's very selfish, right? And unless you have a relationship with them, it rarely ever works. Okay. One of my close friends is a casting director, has a huge presence on Instagram. And if you look at our tag photos, she can't even go and look at pictures where she's tagged with her friends anymore. It's sad. It's all actors tagging themselves. And she's like, I never look at them. I just don't. She'd have to sift through thousands, hundreds of thousands by now. Okay. So there are better ways to network than just tagging random people in your post. Okay. All right. Okay. Whew. It's just updated really fast. Okay. Let me scroll back up. Okay. Great. Let's see. Should I create 2 different accounts on Instagram? One personal where I can goof off and another more professional. Any thoughts? Well, that depends what you mean by goofing off. Because if you're using your name, goofing off will be found. One of the first lives I did a couple months ago was about cleaning up your social media accounts. And really one of the best things for an actor, a public figure to do online is to figure out what your public persona is. We did a whole live on it about what to post and figuring out what you will post about, what you're not comfortable posting about. And that becomes your public brand, right? And you have one account for that public brand. You don't have a private one because who are you going to be friends with? As an actor, you're going to be friends with other actors. So that private account is never really private. And if you're just goofing off or doing something inappropriate, it will get out there. So it's up to you, Anoop, but just know that nothing is private on social media. Okay. All right. Carmen, a question. I have 2 Facebook accounts and unable to marry them. Do you have any ideas? Can you be more specific? Hop back in the chat and tell me, do you have a Facebook profile and a page, or do you have 2 pages? What do you have? Because it may be possible, but I need to know, are we talking pages or profiles? Cool. Okay. All right. Let's see. Should we have separate personal Facebook page from an acting Facebook page? I think you mean a profile on a page. Well, you actually have to have a profile. You can't have a page without a profile. So that's just how it works. You don't have to use the profile, but you have to have one to set up a page. Jennifer, just so you know that. It's up to you. Really, you have to know. I have a whole video on my YouTube channel that is, should I have a Facebook page or profile? We talked about a lot of the cons of a page today. You know, what are your goals? Should you have a page? Like, that's my first question for you. You know, are you trying to grow? Are you trying to meet new people? Where are you in your career? Because it might be at some point that you need to have a page, right? But right now, maybe you just grab a page, grab your name, and you're not using it yet. And you're focusing on platforms that are going to help you reach your goals. Okay. So that's a personal thing, whether or not you should have it. And it's going to be based on the conversation we had today about the pros and cons of Facebook and pages. All right. How do you use the story versus feed on Instagram? Saki, great question. I'm going to have a sip of coffee and then I'm going to get to it. All right. It's going to be different for everybody, but I kind of look at the feed versus stories on Instagram. The feed is like the cover of a book. Right? I'd like to say we don't judge a book by its cover, but we do, right? So the feed is kind of the cover of a book. When we hop over to your account, it's the first thing we see. We see your bio, we see your feed, right? We should get a great overall idea of who you are, what you stand for, what you love by looking at your grid and seeing the last 9 squares, right? I should have a good idea, just like the cover of a book. Your stories are almost like the inner pages of a book. Right? Every day you have a different story and you can dive a little deeper. We can have a little bit more behind the scenes. They don't need to be as polished. Not that you have to have a perfect feed, but you know, there's a lot less pressure when something's going to disappear in 24 hours. Right? I do think they all need to be on brand, but I do think using stories as a little bit more behind the scenes is a great way to use it. Okay. And also just in terms of how much to post on the feed versus Instagram stories, the feed you can post less. Nowadays, you can really post a lot less on the feed and more in stories. Okay. And hey, if you're on TikTok too, you can actually, another thing I didn't say, TikTok is actually really great for repurposing your TikToks and then using them on Instagram stories. So it actually helps you get more content. Perfect. Let's see. Burke, I have various types of content such as product design, physical performance, and headshots, short skits. It feels all over the place. Should I have separate accounts? Whether or not to have separate accounts because you're a multi-artist, a multi-hyphenate, always comes down to your audience. So, you know, are these different things that you do? It says product design. Product design to me doesn't necessarily sound like the same audience for your acting career, right? Are you selling products? That's what I need to know. Are you actually marketing products and selling them? Then that doesn't belong on your actor page because that's a totally different audience. So if I was someone in the industry and I came over and you're like selling some kind of, I don't know what kind of product it is, but you know, say it's a, you know, business cards or marketing stuff, you're selling that on your page that's also for your career that we do find a little bit more about you. That's confusing. That's a mixed message. And the people you're selling your products to may not be the same people that are your audience. Okay. Physical performance, if it ties into your brand as an actor, sure. If we're talking staying fit and things like that, yeah. If it ties into your brand as an actor, that is a little behind the scenes of who you are. And especially as an actor, you got to stay fit, right? So that could totally be on there. But just make sure if you're a multi-artist that that everything you're posting is for a similar audience. Okay. Um, how many platforms do you say we should at minimum? One. I do think all actors should be on social media, so you should have one. I know a lot of actors that are really rocking their Instagram, and that's where they're at. And like I said, with the goals we talked about, Instagram actually helps you do all of them. And Twitter actually can help you do all of them if you're not a content creator, right? Unless you're just spreading the word about your content. Okay. So I'd say minimum one. You don't actually need more than that if you're really rocking that platform and it's helping you reach your goals, which is the whole point of today, right? All right. Let me see. Lots of questions. Okay. So then by ranking, it would be Twitter. Oh, hey, Edward, you made it. Awesome. I know Edward was looking forward to, we were going to do this a month ago, but we just couldn't. So then by ranking, it would be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook when choosing a platform. It depends. What are you talking about for your goals? Is that for you, Edward? If that works for you with the goals we talked about, then yeah, go for it. Right? For me, my Twitter's my number one, Instagram's my number two, then it's YouTube, and now it's TikTok. Yes, I am now creating on TikTok. But so that's for me. That's how I rank my platforms. And what's really great about this, guys, was when you rank your goals, and you actually see like put your platforms in an order. And I know if I get really busy, you will find me on Twitter. I may take some days off on Instagram. I may take a week off because Twitter is my number one platform, right? So make sure once you decide on your goals and what platforms are going to help you reach them, then rank them in order. It really takes the pressure off because then like I'm always present on my number one. Not necessarily every day, but I'm always present on Twitter. Okay. It gives us it gives us a little more leeway when life gets busy and tough. Okay. It's like they've seen you around the neighborhood. Carolyn, yes, I think you're talking about when you interact with someone over and over again. Yes, they start thinking they know you. They start thinking that, oh, maybe I cast them in something. Maybe I know them. Maybe we have some mutual friends. Exactly. It just happens. So it's pretty cool. They even start learning your name, which is amazing. I did a live for a manager last month. I think I told this story in the networking live, and all of a sudden it was a Zoom call. So all of a sudden they came on late, and because their microphone was on, they popped up on the screen. And guess what? I knew this guy's name. Out of nowhere, I knew his name. I've never met him. He's not a student. He's not a client. I knew him because he had interacted with me over time on social media, over and over again, just, saying positive things, commenting. I had even looked at his reel at one point and I knew his name. Pretty cool. So it's exactly what we're talking about, Carolyn. I love that. Okay. Sandra, I think I answered that question about multi-hyphenates. That sounds like two different audiences to me, a speech pathologist and an actor. Like, what are you doing for as a speech pathologist on social media? If you just let us into the fact that you are one and it's kind of like something we know about you, that's great. But if you're actually posting stuff for your audience as a speech pathologist, then that's a totally different audience. Okay. All right. Whoa, that just moved like crazy. Okay. Tony, I miss the days of a phone call or a pop-up. It was direct and straightforward with no chaser. Well, here's the deal. Social media is amazing for networking. Like I said, I can literally have hundreds of coffee dates a week. You can't do that in person. I mean, I drink a lot of coffee. I can't have 100 coffee dates every week. And what I really suggest, once all of this in the world is, died down, actually pairing your social media networking with your in-person networking, because really a comprehensive strategy for your career for networking involves both online and offline. It's not all just being online for networking. Okay. So you can do that pop-up and a phone call, once we can go out and not wear a mask. So, all right. Sherry, how to initiate relationships since tagging is not recommended. Just go onto Backstage's YouTube channel and look up social networking for actors. Look up that live that I did. I literally break down an entire process of who you're gonna find on social media, where you're gonna find them, and how you're gonna interact. It's like a step-by-step masterclass. So I'm gonna let you get the long, better version for that answer. And anyone else that networking was your goal, go watch that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Is Instagram a good platform to post acting videos and monologues, or should I stick with TikTok? This really goes back to like, well, what's your posting plan? If your only plan is that you're posting monologues, then that's not really a plan. To occasionally post your monologues and to share your talents, yeah, go for it. But that's not the only reason to post on, to post them there. Okay. I think TikTok right now is a better place to do sketches and share your talents. I think you're going to grow better on TikTok doing that kind of content. And that includes YouTube. I see a lot of you guys like doing like little shorts and sketches and putting them on YouTube. Go do that on TikTok. There's an audience for it there. It's going to be much easier for you to be discovered and build an audience around your talents. Okay. Who knew I'd be so pro TikTok? Oh my goodness. And hey guys, find me on TikTok. It's the same. I'm at marketing for actors everywhere except Twitter. I'm marketing for actor because we only get 15 characters. Okay, Dominic. Hey, Dominic. I know you like Twitter because I connected with you there. Twitter is definitely my number one too. I'm trying to be more involved on Instagram. Perfect. One at a time. Now go move on onto Instagram. And just so you guys know, if after today you like want to try out Instagram or you want to try out Twitter, in the description I put I have a step-by-step Instagram stories and Instagram tutorial on my YouTube channel. I've got that Twitter tutorial. They are just step-by-step tutorials, so you know how the buttons work. Because we can't grow, we can't connect, we can't put our content up if we don't know the 101. So those are all there for you on my channel. There's actually a playlist called tutorials, and that TikTok one will be there on Thursday in that playlist as well. Okay. Let's see. What's the best platform for monetizing? Do you have a seminar for this? Monetizing. Where's your audience? Where's your audience and what are you trying to monetize? Are you making content? So you can monetize on TikTok now. If you have a larger audience, you actually can go live and people pay you with coins. People are making thousands of dollars by going live on TikTok when they have a large following right now. It's blowing my mind. But also YouTube could be a place for monetizing. I just don't know what you're quite talking about. If you're talking about becoming an influencer, then I'd say Instagram is probably the best place to do that. But it all goes back to your goals, right? Okay. All right. Wow, that just moved really fast. When looking for acting manager representation, should we include our TikTok if we're a content creator with a growing following? Thanks, Alex. Awesome, Alex. That's a great question. I think if you have a following anywhere on a major platform, you should include it. Because yes, they get asked a lot in the business about Instagram or Twitter if you have a following, but it's an audience. If you have an audience on your YouTube channel or if you have an audience on a TikTok, that is the question. Do you have an audience? So yes, normally they're asking Instagram and Twitter, but like if you have it somewhere else, share it. Shout it from the rooftops. That question, when they ask you that, they want to know what you're bringing to the table. Okay. So yeah, go for it. Go for it, Alex. And hey, DM me on TikTok. I'd love to see what you're creating. Okay. What do you think about paying for promotions on Insta? My honest answer, Dorian, I think there are easier ways to grow your following. So if you're doing it to get more followers and to get more likes on your post, I think it's a waste of money. If you're a content creator or you're an educator, you do something like that and you have a strategy, yes, ads can be fantastic. I actually teach ads to my business clients, but just for the average actor to like boost post all the time, there are ways you can engage to get with others to get your engagement up. There are step-by-step things you can do to grow your following that are free. So paying to boost your posts is, in my opinion, is not the best way. Do it for free, right? Save that money for headshots and acting class, right? All right. Okay. Oh my gosh, it keeps moving right when I start reading one. Okay, I'm only going to answer questions about social media. There's some here that are not about social media. There's a lot of other experts on the Backstage channel that will answer questions about reels and all sorts of stuff. How should I comment on casting director's post and keep it professional, Emma? Go watch my live about networking. Keep it professional. Keeping it professional means joining them in a human way, not making it all about you. And that's one of the biggest things I see actors do. They just hop on like someone's tweet that has nothing to do with the project or booking or anything, and they're literally asking for an audition. That post wasn't about that. That's like the easiest way to get blocked from somebody's page, right? Join their conversation, add value to their conversation. Look for the clues. Everyone leaves a digital footprint online. Look at their bios, look at their likes, look at who they follow. Really, in like 5 minutes, I can look at someone's page and know, okay, they're a mom, they do this, they do this, they do this. How easy is it for me now to then go and interact with them in a human way because I know what's important to them? And some of these things might be important to me too. So, Emma, that's the best way. Just engage in a real human conversation, right? That is how you're going to get on the radar as a human, and then that will turn into a connection for the business. Okay. All right. Ooh, this is mood. I got to step my tutorial game up. Tony says, yes, well, I got him. I love making tutorials. Cause like I said, you can't learn how to grow if you don't know how the buttons work. It just can't happen. Right. If you have a following, Dominic says, at what point is it a following? 500. It's a following the minute you get one, because one person is following you. 500, 1,000, 10,000. Having a following is anything. But in terms of being an influencer, normally it's 10,000, at least for a micro influencer. And in terms of, if you're talking about the business, it depends on the project. A lot of times you need to have 100,000 really for it to make a difference. But you got to know, sometimes it's not just about the followers. It's the fact you're a team player. If you're up against somebody else and you are on social media and they're not, and you have 1,000 followers, guess what? You are more valuable if you guys are equally as talented. They could cast anybody because you have 1,000 people you could share it with, right? You have 1,000 people that you can help spread the word. You look more like a team player. Let me know if that makes sense, Dominic, okay? Do agents and casting directors hang out on TikTok now, or is it too social? Well, casting directors actually are very social, just so you know. They're humans, but do they hang out? Well, that's why TikTok is not here, because like I said, if you get really targeted about who you want to meet, it's not going to be as easy to find them here, right? And that question is going to depend on their age. How old are they? You know, where do they like to play? What are their goals for their career? Because they might be using social media as a business for their casting business, right? And TikTok might not be the place for that, right? So, you know, are they hanging out, you know, in that way? Then no. Some of them might be watching. Of course, there's how many people? 800 million daily users. There are so many people watching, and they are producers, casting directors, everybody that does everything, right? Okay. All right. I think I just answered that question about how many for followers. Try not to focus on followers for casting, guys. Look at it as like it's an audience. It's an audience for you to share your passions, for you to share your projects, other people's projects. Look at what is happening in the world right now. If everyone in this chat had an audience, think of the changes you could make. Think about the voices you could amplify because you had an audience. So it's not just about getting cast. I really want you guys to think about that. It's an audience for the things that are important to you. It's an audience for your work. It's an audience for you, right? That's a better way of looking at followers. Okay. KT Spree, what if you can't figure out how to grow your following, even if you put in a lot of effort? Well, I'd like to know what kind of effort you're putting into, and that's not a dig. You might just be doing the wrong thing. Okay. Like I said, freeclassforactors.com. It's if you're on Instagram, it's going to show you how to get your next 100 followers, and you can rinse and repeat and grow. It's how I have, I don't even know, 35,000 followers on Instagram. So you can grow your following. Your audience is on Instagram. Your audience is on Twitter. I guarantee it. Okay. You just have to know how to tap into them and how to find them. And you need a strategy for that. Okay. Perfect. Dorian, I answered that Facebook personal page versus Facebook fan page. I answered it a little bit, and I then sent you to a YouTube video on my channel. Just go look on my channel on YouTube because I have something that breaks it down very specifically. Okay. All right. Perfect, guys. So unless I see another question, I'm going to wrap it up. But please do the work, guys, today. Go through those 4 goals and order them. Don't be on platforms that are not helping you reach your goals. You're wasting your time. I'd rather see you take an extra acting class. I'd rather see you create content. I'd rather see you spend more time with your family or just take a walk than wasting your time on the wrong platforms. Okay. And that comes from someone who teaches social media. All right. All right. I love that. If you hang around the barbershop long enough, eventually you'll get a haircut. I truly believe efforts toward your dreams and goals can happen. Yeah. Yep. And if you keep hanging around the barbershop and networking the right way, things will happen. I've seen it happen over and over again. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining me here. You guys can find me at marketingforactors.com. There's like over 100 articles about online marketing and social media there for you guys, all free. And definitely check me out on my YouTube channel, because all the questions I couldn't get to or that I might have missed, I bet your answer is over there. There's just a ton of content over on my channel, youtube.com/Heidi Dean. So that's it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. And hopefully I'll see you guys again in another live. And until then, I'll see you on social. Bye, guys.